cookie. Latest gossip, television shows, yeah, you know I'm spilling. Reading them documents, facts don't lie. Tune in, drop it in the chat, don't be shy. And let's talk about it. Welcome to Tater Tot Lane, come ride with me. Hot tea, real talk, yeah, that's the key. So tune in, let's talk about it.
All right, y'all. So we are back at it with part 3 of this ridiculous ass interview. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification so you know every time I upload a new video. And also share this mo, okay, with people that also want justice for Nolan Wells, okay? So, Cookie want to say hi. Say hi, your moms. Nothing. So yeah, so we're back with part 3. We haven't learned really any damn thing except that the ex-officer Tatum is full of shit, as well as Warren seems like as well. So hey,
what in the world is going on? Sure. Because this can't be right. Here we go with the bullshit. Y'all, here we go with the bullshit.
All right, so here we are. We're back at it. This is part 3. So let's just jump right into it, okay?
All right, so I want to be clear with this one thing, because I know you mentioned before. Is there any chance or any knowledge that you have that anybody deleted stuff from his phone?
I mean, Nolan was like a brother to me. Nolan lit up every room he walked in. 4th of July, everybody was out there. Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach, 18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that. The rest of the group, which was ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people on my buddy's tide line.
Yeah, so y'all pretty much having a good time. And then you guys get ready to leave prematurely.
Right.
And like, what? Explain that, because you guys got there around 10.
Yeah.
It's now 4:30. Right. People are still out there partying, and
Correct.
They're having a good time, but something happened to where it necessitated you guys to get the boat up and running. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So I looked out, I had a girl come up to me and say, hey, your brother just got in a fight. And obviously I have a younger brother, and that's what she was talking about. And I was freaked out. So I walked over to the beach, and I didn't walk over, I ran over. I made a beeline, I didn't talk to anybody. But
Again, what the fuck does this have to do with why y'all were leaving the boat, leaving so early in the day, since y'all was having such of a good motherfucking time? And again, so your brother was there. This is the first time we're hearing about your brother being there and your younger brother and getting into a fight. Was he also drinking? Let's go.
Drink down and walked over there, and my brother was kind of angry, and there was a lot going on, but
that's a lie right there. Who the fuck gets in a fight but they're only kind of angry? When you get to a point where you laying paws on somebody, you pass anger, especially kinda.
Someone was getting pulled away. I don't know who it was. And my brother was like, oh, I just got in a fight, and this guy punched me in the face, and I punched him right back. And then went to the ground, and my brother put him in an armbar. And
was Nolan involved in any of this?
Absolutely not. When I was over there, there was a bunch of younger guys like my brother's age. And I mean, Nolan, I never saw Nolan over there. Yeah. Absolutely not. And, but.
So why the fuck are we even talking about this? We don't give a fuck about your brother and this damn him getting his little ass beat.
Okay, sorry. I just lost my train.
Yeah, he can't remember what the fuck they've been rehearsing. Oh, that's an ugly motherfucking boy. Batch. This motherfucker look like Maddie off of Mad TV. This is an ugly mother. Oh, look at them ears. Warren.
So you get ready to go. There's an issue with the boat.
Okay, yeah.
And this is what
this led up to that. That's what I'm saying.
So the fight happened with your brother, or a little scuffle. I'm assuming that it was cleared up.
You're right.
You got your brother out of that situation, and then how did you find out that this boat is sinking?
Well, I walk back over, and like we're probably around each other for a little bit. I mean, you know, I wasn't thinking anything about it. I told my brother, I pulled my brother off the beach, and I was just like, listen, get in the water, hang out with us, calm down. I mean, he was calm, but I didn't want anything else to happen, you know? And so once I got back over the boat, I got on the Triton, and the Triton had probably about 6 inches of water up to the transom. And I was freaked out because I'm good friends with Wyatt, and that was his boat. And, you know, no water's coming out, no excess water's coming out. And, you know, it was a big issue because I think the reason was because there were so many people getting on and off the boat. And at some point, the boat was very, very crowded, and there was just a lot of people on, so that it drags water in. And eventually, I think over time, we were out there for a couple hours, the boat just started filling up with water. So I popped the.
So the boat started filling up water because so many people was walking in and out, and they were carrying buckets of water on from their feet. Like, what the fuck? To where it would start sinking. Why, Ryan, what's this motherfucker, Warren? I have to give you this.
Sure. Cut the shits. Okay, cut the shits.
This don't even make any damn sense.
The starboard side hatch and the battery was completely underwater. And so the motor wouldn't trim down. I mean, my buddy would go to trim it down from the console, and it'd trim down, and then it'd come right back up. And so Wyatt's trying to throw a rear anchor.
So which one was it? Would it trim down or would it not trim down?
So we're caught, and he's, you know.
Look how Officer Tatum is looking at him. He's been coached, and for one, I don't even know who the fuck he even think anybody about to believe this shit, especially by him being an ex-police officer.
Yelling at people, everybody's kind of freaking out, and eventually I'm like yelling at other people, trying to tell them, you know, calm down, like, you know, the boat could possibly sink, you know, and I'm not paying attention to everyone around me. I was paying attention to my buddy's boat, and that's what all my other friends that were on that boat were doing, trying to solve the problem.
So you're on the boat now. The water's getting up to the point where the boat may be disabled to where you couldn't get it out. Correct. From Horn Island. So what happens after that?
Wyatt jumps to the water, tries to throw a rear anchor, and my buddy Meyer, you're sitting looking, trying to pull trash out the bilge. And the bilge is basically a pump that pulls the excess water out the boat. So the bilge was failing to work. So any excess water was just sitting in the boat. It wasn't getting pumped out. And I looked over the gunnel, and I looked at the release hole for the bilge, and it was even with the water. So, I mean, we're all freaking out. All of our, you know, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat.
All of this is stuff that we don't need to give a fuck about. We don't care about, because when the motherfucking dispatcher asked you, did you want the fucking marshals to come? You said absolutely not. So we don't need to give a play-by-play of this motherfucking malfunction or this built or whatever the fuck this shit called.
Well, then eventually my buddy Bart on the tide line is like, I'm going to pull y'all out to where we're out of all this, you know, all this chaos. Cause we left at 4:30 and there were still just as many people there, if not more than when we got there. I mean, probably around the same amount. I mean, it was
Bart in one of the boats, or had one of the boats that had came out there with y'all? Because I know two of them was Wyatt's. And was Bart the owner of the other boat? Because I think, is that Bart the friend that he went to his house or something before he went to McDonald's that hooked up the boat? And is that Bart's boat that was on, like, what was it, Bart's boat that helped y'all out, or whatever the case may be? Like this, okay.
Crazy. Like there was a lot of people. And I mean, eventually Bart pulls us out. You know, we left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out, and we had the towing strap pulled from, you know, Bart's port side cleat or starboard side cleat, and he was on our starboard side bow. And so he was rubbing on his power pole. So Bart turned around, pulled up next to our boat, and we were just trying to get it situated. So that's when Wyatt called Cito. And Wyatt was like, you know, calls him, because the cell service isn't great at the island, but once you can use your phone, but stuff might not descend. And like, I mean, it's not great. You know, you got maybe one bar, it won't work that well. But once you go a little off the island, you have cell coverage. And even on the island, like I called my mom when we were on the island, you know, it was fine. Like we had, you know, enough cell coverage to make a phone call or shoot a text over, but you don't have enough cell coverage to like send a picture, for example. So
So I want to go back.
Why do you say that? Did you try to send a picture? This is them trying to explain why it was no pictures in his phone. You can still take a picture without service. You can take a picture if your phone is off. You can still take pictures. If the phone, like if the service is turned off, you can still take pictures. You just may not be able to send them without a Wi-Fi signal. But it wasn't shit breaking up during that call with Wyatt and all of this stuff. But if Bart offered to pull y'all from there, then why did y'all even call Cito?
I want to touch on that real quick because the phone thing came up at some point. And so was it when you guys got off the boat?
Yeah.
I mean, were people taking their phones off the boat, or is that not typical? Because I know that Nolan's phone was left on the boat,
right?
Even though after you guys had left. So can you explain that? Because I think people need to understand this a little clearer.
Yeah.
Was it typical for people to have their phones left on boats, or did they keep their phones in the water?
Yeah. I mean, everybody kind of goes out to the island to get away from, their phones and everything else. I know I got on the boat to get away from.
Again. Why the fuck can he answer a direct question? We don't give a fuck why people go on the island.
Just the regular world. And no, when you're waist deep in water, no one's carrying their phone in their hand, especially at Horn Island. The water has been very, very murky because of the rain. And when it's just very risky. If you're gonna have your phone in the water, some people might for a couple minutes and like maybe taking some pictures of each other. I know a lot of girls like to take pictures in the water at Horn Island. Guys do too. Like people like to take pictures, and but a lot of the pictures you see are on the boat for a reason. And so, no, I mean, if someone is on their phone in the water, they're using it real quick and then putting it right back on the boat. We were all waist deep in water. No one's sitting there scrolling on their phone. I never saw that once, and I've never seen that once. And I've been out the island my whole life. I mean, that's just not something people do. People aren't on their phones, and everybody has their phone, yes. But it's always on the boat. No one's getting off the boat with their phone. So
you guys get ready to leave out of there, getting towed out.
Yeah.
And then where's Nolan in this situation?
Well, the last time I saw Nolan was 3:00, and Nolan was cradling a girl in his arms, Katie. Katie. And Katie, Nolan was sitting there, and the last time I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, "Dude, you crazy?" I was like just joking with him, and but anyway. Nolan, that was the last time I laid eyes on him.
That's probably the last damn the only truthful thing he probably didn't said during this whole damn interview is Nolan was like, I'm GT motherfucking D getting the draws, okay? That's probably what they I'm about to get that back, okay? That's probably all that was. But again, he said the last time he seen Nolan was at 3:00.
But when we were leaving, obviously, no one is getting left at the island that came with us unless they demanded to, be there and asked. This is a very common thing at Horn Island. When you're out there, a lot of people ride out there with someone and in with somebody else all the time. I've done that 100 times. It's a very common thing. But Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Nolan, get on the boat. Get on the boat. We're leaving. If you're
Now they're trying to dispel the part about them just leaving him, but and not, him not coming back with them. It was his decision. They're putting everything on him. He can't debunk it because why? Because he's no longer with us, you raggedy bobcat. So why would your boy be urgently Nolan, you gotta come. Nolan, get on this boat. Get on this boat. When the last time you seen Nolan at 3:00? Y'all wasn't about to leave then. Y'all wasn't about to leave until 4:30 when you said the boat was taking on water. So it seems like maybe y'all was mad that Nolan was about to GTD with Katie, and maybe something pursued, or you know, he left or whatever with y'all, because from that call, from that fucking call, Nolan was on that boat with y'all. But we'll talk about that later. We might talk about that live, okay, with the girls, because I know didn't want to talk about this shit bad as fuck. But this doesn't make sense. He just said that the last time he seen Nolan was at 3 o'clock. They didn't discover these problems right here until 4:30. Y'all wasn't about to leave at 3 o'clock. He said he seen Nolan at 3 o'clock, and him and Katie was booed up, and he like, GTD, getting the damn draws. So how the fuck is it now that your buddy was telling you so urgently to get on the boat? And first of all, y'all had 2 other boats out there that all the crew came on. So why the fuck would y'all be making him get on a boat with y'all that's about to fucking sink? Why the fuck would y'all be on the fucking boat that's about to fucking sink when y'all y'all got other boats out there, and especially Wyatt? Shit, I don't give a fuck who was on my other boat or who I let get on my other motherfucking boat. Shit, this one right here sinking. So I need to get on my other boat.
You got to come now. And Nolan made a decision to stay out. He didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Out there with someone and in with somebody else all the time. I've done that 100 times. You know, it's a very common thing, but
if that was true, that this is typical, then why the fuck would your buddy be demanding that? And who's the buddy? Name the buddy. Why would he be demanding that Nolan get on the boat? Because he want him getting GTD with Katie?
Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And like, no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Nolan, get on the boat. Get on the boat. We're leaving.
It's 2 different things to ask and demand. Those are 2 different things. You're demanding somebody, like you gonna make him get on the motherfucking boat, or you asked him. And why the fuck would he be panicking for him to get on the motherfucking boat when the bitch was sinking? Hell yeah, I'm riding with somebody else.
If you're coming, you got to come now. And Nolan made a decision to stay out on the island. And like he said, you know,
how many people heard that? Were there
at least 5. I mean, everyone that was on our boat right there, because the Palm Beach had already left. My buddy went ahead and went home on the Palm Beach, and 3 guys on the way back. And Nolan.
Okay, so that explains why one of the other boats was why his other boat was gone. But why did that boat leave so soon? Why did that boat already leave? It's only 4:30. But again, the last time he seen Nolan was at 3. So how do he know that the boy was telling him, like, you got to come on now because we about to go, because the boat is taking on water at 4:30?
I wasn't the only person to ride out there with us and in with somebody else. I mean, we had multiple people in our group that rode out with us and rode in on someone else's boat. And that, like I said, that's not an uncommon thing to do. You know, I mean, a lot of people do that. I could name probably 50 people out there that day that ran out with somebody and ran back in with somebody else. So, I mean, it's not like it's an uncommon thing, but it's not like we just left him there, or my friends just left him there. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island after my friends asked him multiple times and told him to get on the boat, and he decided to stay.
And I heard the girl that he was with, Katie, had text somebody that she heard people yelling for Nolan to get on. Is that true?
And I have a picture of that. She texted my buddy, and the next day everybody was panicking and everybody's texting Katie, you know, because she was obviously seen with Nolan the whole day at the island. Katie sent a message to my buddy the next day and said, you know, this is the last time I saw him, you know, he's really sweet. But she also mentioned that the last time she saw Nolan was when my buddy was yelling at him to get on the boat. And she was right there to see that Nolan decided not to.
Yeah, so you guys get in. Where
the fuck is those text messages at? Because Katie said that shit, that the last she seen him, he was getting on the boat with y'all. And I'm inclined to believe motherfucking Katie, because again, I feel like they might be trying to create a reasonable doubt with if he was last seen with Katie or last seen with them. But your friend, you don't seem like you're too concerned, because this would mean that Katie got something to hide and something up with Katie, because, and why the fuck she would be texting y'all and shit like that? Why would she be texting y'all if he said he was standing on there with her? Because he was booed up with the bitch, right? So why the fuck would she be texting y'all? And the next day, you mean that motherfucking night when y'all discovered that Katie said he ain't with her? And if Nolan just had met Katie, how all y'all get Katie information? To be texting her and shit. When Nolan's phone was on the damn boat, just like all y'all shit was. So how y'all even get her fucking number?
The boat, you start to get towed in, and you make it back. Now explain how that you get to the point where you were concerned about Nolan, because obviously you said, hey Nolan, y'all need to, or somebody, not
when
you,
did I get
but
to that point?
You guys had made mention Nolan needed to get on a boat.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah.
You guys get back to wherever you're going.
Right.
Explain that. Did you guys go back to somebody's house, or you guys like what happened there? And then when did you feel like, well, wait a minute, where's Nolan?
Right. Okay. Well, running in was very chaotic. I mean, Nolan chose to stay on the island, so my focus wasn't on anything else other than the boat, you know, because if the boat doesn't get in, then no one gets in. You know, I don't want to sink out there on my buddy's boat, and no one does. But my buddy Wyatt jumped out and pulled the plug on the boat once we kind of got out there, because he got the motor to trim down. And the motor trimmed down, my buddy Wyatt pulled the plug, and we planed off. We moved all the way to the front of the boat so we could plane off. And eventually we planed off, and the boat was running. So when you're planed off and you have water in the boat and you're hauling, you know, we're going pretty fast. We're going probably 40, 42 miles an hour. And so all that excess water that was built up in the boat is coming out of the boat. So, I mean, that's what we had to do. So we ran into Fort Bayou, and we didn't just run straight to my buddy's grandparents' house. We ran into Fort Bayou. A couple of us jumped in the water, and Wyatt, like the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat.
So all y'all was able to jump in this deep ass fucking water, plug the boat, or go underneath the bitch, plug it, do all this shit. But yet Nolan, if the waters and shit was so dangerous for Nolan to be out there, when they said he was an expert swimmer, a great swimmer. So all y'all survived coming out the water. Y'all jumping in and out the water, anchoring the boat, anchoring and all this type of shit, plugging it up and everything. All y'all fine. Except Nolan.
So then after that, we went and docked it, and I went back to my buddy's house, and we ate and, you know, napped for a little bit. It was a long day at the island, so, you know, we were all tired. And eventually we go over to, you know.
It was a long day. Y'all went and napped and all this shit. At your buddy's house. They just went right past the stress of them almost sinking on that fucking boat. Notice that? That's weird.
We had to do. So we ran into Fort Bayou, and we didn't just run straight to my buddy's grandparents' house. We ran into Fort Bayou. A couple of us jumped in the water, and Wyatt, like the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat. So
if y'all did all of that and fixed everything and everything was fine after that, then why didn't y'all just go back to the island or finish partying at the island? Since all was well.
Then after that, we went and docked it, and I went back to my buddy's house, and we ate and, you know, napped for a little bit. It was a long day at the island, so, you know, we were all tired. And eventually we go over to, you know, a girlfriend of mine. She was having people over for 4th of July. We were doing like fireworks and stuff. So we all went over there to swim and, you know, hang out. And
this infamous picture that I've seen online of Nolan in the water in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
where is this picture associated with? Because you said you guys went back to swim. Nolan wasn't with you.
Yeah.
So where's this picture at? Like, what is it? What's the context around the picture that's been floating?
That picture is taken on June 27th, a week before the 4th of July. We all went to a friend of ours in Pass Christian. We got a lot of friends from Bay St. Louis, Pass Christian. We all went over there to hang out. And,
and Nolan was in that picture.
Nolan was in that picture. And if you look in the picture, my arm is around Nolan in that picture, And I mean, that was a week.
Your arm stayed around Nolan
before the 4th of July. So that picture is not associated within even the same. I mean, that was like a week before. So, yeah.
So you guys are now at swimming and having a good time at a lady friend's house.
Right. I never got to the pool. I talked to her dad for a while. And I mean, all my friends were downstairs. I went upstairs, talked to her dad. We were talking about boats and stuff. And, I've been with my friends all day. I was just talking to everybody.
Did you tell the father about how the boat was sinking that day? Did you tell him about that? Because I would think that would be something that you would be telling him about since y'all were talking about boating.
But
so you talked to the young lady's dad, and then how long was it before you realized, or you guys realized that? Well, where's Nolan at?
I mean, I went back downstairs, and all my friends were just hanging out, and my buddy Wyatt had a dress, talking about Nolan. And I was like, well, where is Nolan? Have y'all heard from him? And
why would you be asking where he is when, for one, y'all have his phone? How the fuck can anybody hear from him when y'all had his phone? And the last you left, he was with Katie after y'all were demanding that he come because it was so urgent that he come with y'all on the sinking ass boat. But he stayed with Katie. So why are y'all worried about him at all?
He was like, no, we haven't. And I was like, okay, well, it's a little concerning. Like, I mean, I'm not freaking out or anything, but like, I'm trying to find out where Nolan is. So I texted Javon, and
again, why were you worried? Why would it be concerning? Especially since you have his fucking phone. Remember?
I was like, hey, and also a couple other buddies that I had at the island. I was like, hey, have y'all seen Nolan? Did he ride in with y'all? And all the boys were like, no. Well, I texted Javon, and I was like, hey, can you send me Miss Christine's number? Because I haven't heard from Nolan. And if she hasn't heard from Nolan, then I'm calling the Coast Guard. And so eventually Javon sends me her number.
Who is her? That's
Miss Christine.
Miss Christine is
Nolan's mom.
Nolan's mom.
Yeah. And
now, you done jumped the whole thing. You done went from having Nolan's phone to y'all on this sinking boat. Now y'all done party, ate, took naps and shit. Now y'all at another damn shing-ding. And now all of a sudden you so concerned about Nolan. He with a bitch. Why are you concerned? And then why now all of a sudden you want to call Miss Christine? How the fuck you even know her name anyway? Since you never damn met her. Never been to her damn house. And I thought that Javon said, was that Javon that said that he didn't really know these guys like that? And again, how the fuck would they be able to hear from him when y'all had his phone? Why would you call Javon? Why wouldn't you call the person that you last seen him with, Katie? Since it seemed like some of y'all already knew Katie number. So why wouldn't y'all have called Katie? And Katie, where you and Nolan at?
And I walked down to the dock because, I mean, there was a lot of people at Ava's. Not a lot, but, there was probably 15 of our friends there. And I was just like, walked down to the dock with a couple of my buddies. And I got on the phone. I called Miss Christine, called her the first time. She didn't answer. I called her a second time. And I got on the phone with her. And she...
What's the time?
I asked her if she had heard from Nolan. She said no. And I said, all right, well, don't freak out. I'm going to call the Coast Guard.
And why would you be calling the Coast Guard? How the fuck the Coast Guard would know where Nolan at? Why wouldn't you call the last motherfucker that you seen him with? What are you calling the Coast Guard for? Remember, everybody know everybody. So why wouldn't you call some of the other 1,000 to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people that was on the fucking island to see if they had heard from Nolan or seen Nolan still around because y'all got his phone? He's at this point, he's not even mentioning that they had his phone, so we can't hear from his ass.
And This was at about 11 o'clock.
So what's your intent in calling the Coast Guard, right? Because right now, Nolan could be with a chick. He could be with somebody else.
Right.
He could have gone back with somebody else. What made you concerned enough that you felt like you couldn't weigh it out anymore? You had to call the Coast Guard.
Well, I mean, like I said, my friends and I have been on the water our whole life. Stuff happens. People die all the time. I know people that have died out there.
He's a fucking lie about this. There is no record of anybody ever dying, especially no drowning on Horn Island. No record. No record. Again, now you're so motherfucking concerned because so many people die out on Horn Island. That's not true. That's not true.
You know, it's a fun place to be, but it's also a very, very dangerous place to be if you're not handling it right. And
what do you mean handling it right? Either you fucking on the water or you on the boat or on the fucking land island. What is it to handle?
Nolan, so I hadn't heard from him, and obviously I'm thinking I'd way rather be safe than sorry. I mean, I would rather call the Coast Guard 100 times and lose my mind over it.
But when the dispatcher asked you if you wanted them to call the marshals and the Coast Guard and shit for that boat sinking, you said no. Y'all said no. But why wouldn't you just be safe than sorry on that point then?
But to be okay, then, you know, not, and me not know where he is and him not be okay. And so I called the Coast Guard and I talked to them on the phone for like 20 minutes, gave him a description, what Nolan was wearing, the last place we were at, the last time I saw him, who were we with, what boat we were on, the conditions of the water, just a summary.
Why the fuck would you need to tell the Coast Guard the conditions of the water? They already fucking know what the conditions of the water is. They out there coasting, guarding the damn coast. And
I called Miss Christine back after and I talked to her and I said, I got in contact with the Coast Guard. I'm not sure who she called or, what she did, but I think she said she was going to make a couple phone calls to either DMR or Jackson County Sheriff's Office. And I was thinking worst case scenario. Like, I would way rather be safe than sorry about this.
You so fucking concerned with your friend, but when his mother tell you her next steps on finding her son, your friend, your brother, you're not sure about what she said. So they're trying to put onus on Miss Christine them and Nolan to try to act like they didn't give a fuck and Nolan was drunk as fuck and all this shit. Just like another boy coming, he was hammered. Really? Then why the fuck would y'all leave him there hammered?
That's,
Yeah, so you called. So it seems like you called.
I think she said she was going to make a couple phone calls to either DMR or Jackson County Sheriff's Office. And I was thinking worst case scenario. Like, I would way rather be safe than sorry about this,
Yeah, so you called. So it seems like you called mom immediately.
Right.
Probably the first phone call that she got from anybody.
That's the first phone call, like at least I made. And I would assume that's the first phone call she got from anybody because Javon hadn't called her. And, there's nothing wrong with that, but Javon hadn't called her. And I was just
placing the blame on other people. Why the fuck Javon had to call her? Did Javon go? Was he on Javon's boat? Did he get there with Javon? And I do find that strange that because Christine said that she called Tashima, which is Javon's and Jalen's mother.
Worried about my friend, stuff happens out there, boat problems, it could be anything, but there's a lot of stuff that happens out there. And
what do you mean boat problems or anything? Motherfucker, you just said y'all just had boat problems. So what do you mean? Why are you talking about it as if it's just something that, has happened out there? Not that it just happened that motherfucking day. Or as you can see, shit, we damn near sank that fucking day. So a lot of shit go on out there. That was what I would expect for you to say if y'all actually had fucking boat problems.
I was just worried about my friend.
And so you guys made that call, nothing that night. And I'm assuming you wake up the next day and then what happens?
I wake up the next day at about 7:30 and my dad had texted me because obviously Nolan's photo was all over Facebook. And, I just saw it everywhere. And
so you had a good sleeping night knowing your friend, so worried about your friend / brother that you went to sleep peacefully, woke up at 7:30, and your dad had to say something to you.
I was freaked out because I was like, oh my gosh, like, I assumed, Nolan's just, we had been drinking all day and like, that he's just sleeping somewhere and, that he's okay. But
you just said you were so fucking worried about him. So how the fuck did it go from worried about to casually now you just thought he was sleeping somewhere? Sleeping some motherfucking where, like what? Like he homeless or some shit. And just get drunk and fall asleep any motherfucking where.
I didn't want to believe that if we didn't know for sure. So, I mean, next day I woke up and my stepdad walked in my room. He said, hey, like, have they heard anything about Nolan? Like, what's going on? Because I hadn't spoke to him. And he was like, I was like, yeah, no, like, I don't know. I just gotten up. And he was like,
wait, is this his dad or his stepdad? Like, who the fuck is the judge? Is his mother or stepmother? So maybe his mother is alive and he lived with the mother and not the stepmother. Because why the fuck would the stepmother even make a fucking statement if not to taint the jury, if not to put out a fucking narrative and with her medical legal shit on there to intimidate people?
all right, well, we're going and getting on the boat and looking for him. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I got my buddy Ricky, I got my buddy Brooks, I got my buddy Jax. My mom came on the boat with my stepdad and I, and we all went out there and looked. When I got out there, there was dozens of DMR boats, helicopters, planes flying over Horn Island. And this wasn't just Horn Island. There was also Ship Island they were looking at, I'm sure, and Chandelier Island, Petty Boy. I mean, it wasn't just Horn Island specifically, but where I was at Horn, there were boats everywhere, and not just like random boats, but like, marine resource boats and, cops and, the whole nine. Like, it wasn't like there was just a couple boats looking for Nolan. There was planes and helicopters and, everybody. So.
And then after this, obviously they didn't
Everybody except your motherfucking Bobcat looking ass.
find Nolan that day.
Right.
And so what was your reaction like when you heard the news, or how did you hear the news that they found Nolan's body?
Well, the next day, it got to be about 1 o'clock on July 5th. And I was like, my mind started to turn. I was like, man, if he's not awake yet, like, where is he? Like, I got very, very worried. And, I was with my buddy Brooks the next day.
Like you were worried the night before, but then y'all go out to breakfast and shit the next day on the 5th.
And we're driving, and my buddies were texting my group chat. They were like, hey, listen, I got a phone call from my buddy Trace, and he was like, hey man, they just found his body. And I was like, I wanted to have hope, but it was really, really hard to have hope when they haven't found your buddy in the last 2 days. And, but there's still a little bit of hope there, like maybe, he's not gone and maybe, he's okay. But my reaction was just, I was with my buddy Brooks and I broke down. I mean, I haven't experienced death a lot, but especially with someone I'm as close with as Nolan. And I mean, I broke down and I sat there on my buddy Brooks' shoulder and I cried, and I was upset. I made a couple phone calls to my buddies and checked up on my buddies because, I care about my buddies too. I mean, like, we're all experienced this. Like, we all realized at the same time, we all heard the news at the same time, like, he's gone. And so it was really, really hard on me. I mean, I've never experienced something like this. And
all about him. Nothing. We got to go over his mother house. Let's get it. Let's call his mother. Let's call his dad. Nothing. And his body was found on the 6th, not the 5th. So Tristan called you on the 5th and said they found his body when they didn't find it until the 6th, early in the fucking morning. This is pissing me off.
It was traumatic. I mean, I could tell you where and when I was there, when I got that phone call, where I was. And I just remember, like, it was insane. Like, I can't even put into words how upset I was, and how upset my friends were. So.
And then.
See, he's not even turning red. Because you would think that he would be overcome with emotion right now at this point, recounting the moment he heard that his best friend, his brother, had passed. This is something that, again, he should be turning red and getting ready to cry on this part right here. This just happened the other week.
Comes the stories and the backlash and the craziness. I mean, you guys are now hearing that you're responsible for it. You did it. You killed Nolan. So what was the next step? Did you guys ever engage with police or?
Yeah. So the first time I talked to the police was July 7th. I talked to the lead investigator and I told them my whole story, top to bottom, dotted every I, crossed every T. I told them everything I knew.
What do you mean dot every I, cross every motherfucking T? You lying ass bobcat. And why the fuck do his nose look like a damn caution cone? This boy looks, I cannot. He's a liar. Look at him. He's a fucking liar. What do you mean you dotted every I and crossed every T? So y'all have been rehearsing that fucking what you was gonna say? Because that's the only way you would dot every I and cross every motherfucking T. Because what happened is what the fuck happened. Why wasn't you down there at the fucking police station the day that Jay found his body? He was with Katie. She should know what the fuck happened to him. Call Katie.
Every little detail. I mean, everything I could, tell them to try to figure something out,
Well, you don't want to talk to the cops or
no, of course not.
Guys?
Every person that was included, especially, the guys that you see on social media, everybody cooperated with the police fully. Nolan was with us on the way out and he rode out on the boats with us. So, we were the first people to get questioned. We cooperated with the police the first time they called us and, we talked to them, as soon as they needed and we were fully cooperative.
And we see Benjamin Crump coming to town, made it about race.
Right.
What's your feeling?
What do you mean, right? Because even if his death wasn't about race, the pace and the fucking nonchalantness about this investigation is definitely about race, especially when it comes to the arrest. And just like I said, this interview here is about race because why are you meeting with this black man that hate black people? Out of all the outlets that everybody has been interviewing with and saying stuff with, the person that comes out on this side, now y'all going to meet with the black person that hates black people?
About that. Do you think that any of this has anything to do with race or because obviously something happened to Nolan. It appears that you guys may not have been involved at all. When I say may not, it's no evidence that you were involved at all. You guys had left.
When I tell y'all the way I want to beat the shit out of this nappy head motherfucker, what the fuck you mean no evidence that anything that they had any involvement? How the fuck you know? Now you on the fucking case? Is no evidence because you fucking said it? Or he said it when they the prime fucking suspects? Get the fuck out of here.
But do you think that there's a racial component to any of this?
Of course not. I think if Nolan ever felt the most little bit uncomfortable around us, which we never gave him a reason to.
We ain't talking about fucking Nolan. We talking about y'all motherfuckers. Your parents, the sheriff, the governor, the DA, the coroner, this motherfucker you sitting with. We're not talking about Nolan. We're not talking about Nolan. We're not talking about Javon. We're not even talking about really Tristan. Because they are young men and they hang around y'all all the time. So they may not even notice if it's any type of racial indications about anything around them. They may be completely oblivious to it. And you guys may be too. Because a lot of people are subconsciously unaware of their privilege. Or that they have it or that it exists. Because they've lived in it their whole life. Just like we've lived in things our whole life, so we can speak for a different experience that they may not have. And that is true. That could be it. Nolan, Javon, Tristan, even, they may not feel a racial component to things because y'all their boys in their eyes. They probably don't hear what your parents and shit like that may say about them behind their back. But from when we get into that damn dispatch call, we gonna see what would have happened or whatever. We want to see what would have happened, because let's say if it would have been Wyatt that didn't come back, would Wyatt parents have justice? Or what would these answers be accepted by you all if Wyatt hadn't came back or you hadn't came back? Because your stepmom is a judge and she gonna fucking demand what the fuck happened to her stepson. Just like Christine and fucking Elmore deserve to know what the fuck happened to their damn son. They demanding the same fucking thing. So, and they not getting no answers, but I'm quite sure y'all motherfuckers would have got answers. It's just what the reality is.
But if he did, he wouldn't hang out around us. But if you go look on, like my friends have had Nolan posted all over our social medias, since freshman year in high school. Like, if Nolan ever felt uncomfortable with us, why would he be hanging out with us all the time? I mean, every day we're back from college, we hang out. And
again, because it ain't about him. It's about y'all.
We're around each other all the time. So absolutely not. I would never look at Nolan any other way than I would any of my other friends. I mean, he was like a brother to me.
You guys have been interviewed by law enforcement. Mm-hmm. All of you guys have given statements.
But yet, he's like a brother to you. But when that girl or whoever came and told you that your brother was in a fight on the island, what you said, you made a mad dash. You beelined over there to the shit to see what the fuck was going on with your brother, your real brother. But when you got worried about Nolan that night, did you make a beeline back to Horn Island? Because the boat was fine by now. You was over at your other friend's house, and you and her father was talking about boats, so I'm sure he got a boat. Whenever y'all finished partying and all that shit, then you decided to be worried about Nolan. Did y'all make a beeline? Because it seemed like all this shit is trying to be an alibi. Did you make a beeline back to the island since you hadn't heard from him and nobody hadn't heard from him? Did you make a beeline and said, oh, you just called the Coast Guard? You ain't make a beeline to go see what your brother was doing or what was going on with your brother, especially since y'all had his motherfucking phone. So it would be impossible for anybody to hear from his ass.
Then I think that there's a part associated with this that's being rumored out in the public, and that is the situation with the cell phone, potential deletion of messages. When did that occur, and what happened there?
Why the fuck are you blurring these motherfuckers?
All right, so I want to be
out. You doing a fucking whole interview with this motherfucker. Why are you blurring his face out? What's the point of that? Why are you blurring their faces out? And they're all over 18, but under 21 because they shouldn't be fucking drinking. And why you ain't got Nolan face blurred out? These boys not anonymous. We've already seen the picture with their fucking face. So why are you blurring it out as if you trying to call yourself protecting them from what we don't fucking know? Because it seems like they're the dangerous motherfuckers that people come up fucking missing when around them. And we don't know what the fuck happened to them. Let people know what the fuck they look like. Shit. They ain't lost. So I guess we'll wait around for the part down 4 that it concludes to not a fucking thing probably as well. Y'all make sure y'all like this video, subscribe to the channel. We're gonna come probably I don't know if it's going to be sometime tomorrow, but if it is, it's going to be probably later tomorrow. Come to see about this motherfucking dispatch call and what we hear in the background of this dispatch call. Okay, we're gonna do that on a live. Okay, so y'all make sure y'all set your notification bells so you'll know what time I'm going live. Okay, thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all for part 4 when it comes out. All right, bye.
Welcome to Tater Talk Lane, come ride with me. Hot tea, real talk, yeah, that's the key. So tune in. Let's talk